Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. That's Joe Smith, and this is Transfers Live with a twist. Ooh. The twist is there's no transfers.
Ooh, but there's other good stuff going on. Well, say good, interesting things happening, isn't there, in Manchester United?
There are lots of interesting things happening, and you never know. There might be some sort of developments as we're going live. Make sure you are getting involved in the chat and the comments, and we'll let you know what is going down because there's obviously lots of stories to get through. So make sure as well you are hitting that like button and the subscribe button too. We're going to be talking about Omar Berrada.
Yes.
Love a bit of him. Mason Greenwood.
Yeah, plenty going on there. I say surprisingly, perhaps unsurprisingly, big names, big clubs, big targets going after Mason Greenwood, and there's a big decision that needs to be made there by the new, partial owner. Whose scope and sort of scale of his control seems to be growing by the day. So, by the end of the week, probably own the whole thing.
The end of the Glazers, as we know it.
I think as we know it, yes. I think we are very much heading and maybe even hurtling towards a Manchester United where the Glazers, other than financially, which, let's be honest, is all they ever cared about in terms of, owning the club, don't have much of a say, or certainly have far less of a say than they've had over the last 20 years or so. So maybe that's a good thing. Well, I'll say that maybe that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
That's what we've been waiting for. So we'll get into all that as well. Look a little bit about Ineos, about potential transfers. There's still a few little tiddlers going on. Also, Anthony Martial, a shocking story about him. You're not going to believe it when I tell you. And also, we've been linked with a player we should have bought in 2008. Well, 2009, sorry. But we've been linked with him. We'll get into all that as well.
Who's that going to be then? 2009, we should have bought him.
Yeah.
Who was good in 2009? Probably. Well, you Carlos Tevez, we should have bought him at the end of that season, shouldn't we?
We should have done it. A very good season, Manchester United. Cristiano Ronaldo had a very good season as well. We should have bought him. So we'll get into that. Right, let's start with Berrada.
Yes.
Right.
Massive Omar blow. What's the pun there? Is there a pun there?
Massive.
That was mine on screen.
Wait a second.
Right.
Right.
Hang on a minute. Let's get into this. Anyone who doesn't watch regular, let me explain. The lads on the production desk.
If you can even call them human at this point.
The people behind the desk. They usually come up with puns for the headlines. Their own puns, not the ones they've got off the paper. They make their own. And we judge them and we ask you to get involved and comment and give us your input and your feedback. Now, the difficulty I've got with this one is I don't get it.
I don't think there's anything to get.
Massive Omar blow.
Is Omar blow a thing? Omar blow. Read on.
Okay, go on.
Michael Richards has described Omar Berrada's decision to leave City as a massive blow. Okay, so but you've just repeated, there's no, what's the pun? It's dirty. Like a gob job and that.
A gob job?
Well.
A gob job?
All right then, a little,
Fellatio?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah.
Right, so not only is this not a pun, not funny, it's also filth.
It's sick.
Why is it fellatio? What are you on about? Massive Omar blow?
Just because the word blow.
Massive blow?
Is that it?
What are you children over there? What?
Honestly, without question.
Look how proud producer he himself. He looks like he's genuinely just reinvented the wheel.
Without question, the shittest pun we've ever had by an absolute mile.
And
also, Ollie, I don't know what you're frantically pointing at him about. The one that's on the screen, which was your one, is just as bad. Omarsive blow. Which only works if you're from the home counties with that accent.
Omarsive blow? Omar, right, lover.
Omarsive
blow.
Michael Richards don't know what he's doing.
Cider.
Fucking hell, I'm going to read this. And you two, by the time this is over, even if it's not changed on here, I need a better one from you.
By the time this is over, Stretford Paddock will have at least one less member of staff.
Unbelievable. Right, Michael Richards has described Omar Berrada's decision to leave City for United as a massive blow. Richard said, I know him very well. A really nice guy. So far, could be being said by Donald Trump, this couldn't it? I know him very well, very nice guy. He's incredibly articulate, unlike me. He's got a plan.
What sort of a compliment is that?
Well, incredibly articulate,
Yeah,
isn't it?
he can speak.
Yes.
Yeah, nice one.
Incredibly so.
Yeah, was he 2 years old?
Yeah, I've listened to him talk and he's so inspirational. The way he knows... This is genuinely like Donald Trump, isn't it? Up to now, he's so inspirational. He's got a plan.
Words. He has all the best words.
All the best words. The way he knows the game, the way he knows the market. And Gary Neville says it a lot, but best in class in terms of getting every department to run the best it can possibly be. It's not just his voice, which obviously he has got the voice of an angel. He's happy to take opinions from other people, but put them all together and help build all the way from the ground up. To see him go to Man United is a massive blow. It definitely was a shock, but by all accounts, it was done amicably and they wish him well.
Don't you hate it when people sit on the fence?
Yeah.
Like, what does he think of him? Does he like him or not? I don't know. I can't tell from that. Because he's just given a little wishy-washy answer that doesn't mean anything.
Does he have a plan? Is he articulate? Is he so inspirational? Micah, come on, man. Give us the goss. This is almost like sort of semi-psychotic levels of adoration, this, isn't it? For a bloke who, let's be honest, he has met 3 times.
Yeah, you probably couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
Yeah.
I'm still confused, lads. Right? Did you do this together, this pod? Was it a joint decision?
I didn't want
Who came up with the idea?
Also, absolute grass work from Ollie there. He's pointed at Ethan's face from a point-blank range
Right.
about
Ethan,
10 times.
did you come up with this? Who came up with it?
said it.
You said it.
Who wrote it?
Ollie wrote it. You said it, Ollie wrote it.
Okay.
What did Ollie say? When you said it, what was Ollie's reaction? Love it.
He loves it.
Do you know what? There's an oafish charm to the pair of them.
Yeah.
They're like the naughty little kids that you kind of like.
Yeah. The rest of them better than this.
Yeah.
What do you make of this then? Everyone at City, whether they're just saying it as lip service to the job he's done rather than knowing exactly the details of how good he is, but everyone at City seems to be genuine in anywhere from shocked to Michael Richards here, who seems sort of distraught at the loss of his hero. Like, Omar Berrada clearly, for the first time you can say, maybe in a long time in terms of a United appointment, very, very highly regarded, isn't he?
It's the loss of his hero. I can't believe that Omar Berrada has left us. It's over. The good times are over at the Etihad now.
It's worth pointing out that Richards dropped to his knees upon hearing the news.
Screaming, why?
Yeah, tore his shirt off, and just a single cloud rained down a storm on Richards.
It's not that deep. Yeah, I mean, I like to hear that. I put more weight in what I was seeing from City fans that I respect.
Yeah.
Not many of them, but a few of them on my timeline who did seem to care and were a bit gutted that this kid has left them. Mm-hmm. So it was okay, if they're annoyed and saying like he's part of the reason we've had this success, not all of it obviously, but he's a part of it, and it's a bit of a frustrating one to see him go to Manchester United, then there's something in that. And Gary Neville and Michael Richards quoted Gary Neville, best in class. I know everyone says this, but it's true. Yeah. Me and you have spoken about this extensively, that everyone goes on about Pep's wonderful, he's great, right? He's a very good manager, obviously. But they won the title under Mancini, they won it under Pellegrini. They got to the Champions League semi-final under Pellegrini. I don't think Manuel Pellegrini is the most gifted manager in the world. Yeah. He did very well at City. The reason he won a title is because City's built for success. They've got the best in class there.
In contrast, if Pep had have come to Man United in, the start of last season, do you think we'd have been challenging for the title this year?
I think you have to look at what he did at City. His first season, they finished third. Mm-hmm. He took stock. He brought in. He kind of assessed what he needed to do, and then they backed him. And they backed him with the players that he needed, especially in the fullback position. And then they won 100 points. So, start of last season, this season, we potentially, we could be challenging for the title if we'd have backed him the way City did. But you don't know. You never know. And also, when Pep came into the City team, or took over the City team in 2016, they'd won 2 of the last 4 titles. Yeah. Leicester were the champions. Yeah. It was open for anyone to step up and take it. We finished second with a team that I thought was pretty bang average under Jose. I know we've got 81 points, but it weren't a great season. You remember a lot of those games. So it was a lot easier to win a title than I say it is now. You've got Liverpool, you've got this City team that obviously Pep was built, and you've also got Arsenal doing bits. So I don't know is my honest answer, but yeah, Berrada, let's have a look at what people are saying. A lot of people getting involved in the comments. Mike Fergus says, great show as always. James Griffin says, could it be a hammer blow?
That's not well. I don't mind that, but then hammer isn't anything to do with Omar.
There was one.
Hammer.
Mike Holohan says, "Oh, marvellous."
Yeah, better.
Yeah.
Something like that. That's pretty good. What's yours, Ethan? You've given you time to think of it.
Go
What
on.
is it? Don't say don't have one. What's the
You
one
do
you said
have
to
one.
Ollie
You're
a
just
minute
too
ago?
scared to say it.
What
Go
was
on.
it? Ollie,
Say
tell me,
it.
what was Ethan's, Ollie?
Say it. Say it. Is it rude?
He doesn't have one. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
What is all you?
And
You do?
And here's the other thing.
Why are you getting flustered? Put yours up on the board and I'll read it. And if it's terrible, I won't read it out.
I'll come up with by the end of the
Okay. Also, I can see what the next story is, and you better have been very careful with that.
All I can say is you're lucky Adam Ashton's not up here.
Yeah.
Because remember him last week? He threw you right under that bus in a way that I've never seen anyone throw anyone under the bus on this channel before. It was biblical. Right, go on.
Let's move on. Let's move on to our next story. Here we go, Mason Greenwood. Barca, green light. Fair enough. That's well done,
I
well
think
handled.
any topic involving Mason Greenwood
Yes.
can't be treated with too much joviality.
Yeah.
Because there's always this dark cloud hanging over it.
Yeah,
So,
well
yeah,
done. Fair
okay.
enough. We'll give you the pass there. You've done the right thing. United could use Barcelona's reported interest in Mason Greenwood to bank more than just a transfer fee. The La Liga giants are believed to be keen on taking the 22-year-old permanently this summer, which represents a rare opportunity for Erik ten Hag to get his hands on one of Barcelona's desirable stars. Greenwood is shining on loan at Getafe this term with 7 goal contributions in 16 league games. I mean, not that it particularly matters, but is that shining?
No.
Less than a goal contribution every other game. I'm not trying to knock his quality or anything like that, but the phrasing is slightly sort of pumped up, I think, there,
Can we
isn't
just
it?
be realistic for a bit?
What?
Like, you're right. He's doing well.
Yeah.
He had a very good game against Atletico, I think, where
Yeah,
Griezmann said he
very
was
good.
one of the best wingers we've ever played against or played against this season. And he's done well considering he's barely kicked a ball for 2 years, whatever it is. 7 goal contributions in 16 league games perhaps doesn't tell the full story. Some
Yeah,
of those performances
of course.
warranted more. And let's face facts, he ain't at Barcelona or Real Madrid. He's at Getafe,
Yeah.
who aren't exactly tearing up the La Liga. But then you see people saying, I saw someone on Twitter before, and it had like thousands of likes saying, he's the best winger on the planet right now.
Yeah.
Well, he's not, is he?
No.
Like, I'm not hating on Mason Greenwood and his footballing ability. Genuinely, one of the best youngsters I've ever seen come through United Academy, if not the best in terms of natural ability. And I'm old enough to remember the class of '92 coming through there. Just, you can't fault his talents. But there's a little bit of over-egging it here, where it's like, he's unbelievable. Now, he might get to the level where he is, and I think he's got it in him. If he can sort out some of the stuff that's gone around him, and if he can focus on his football and perform to the levels that he's kind of showing at Getafe, then yeah, he can become arguably the best winger on the planet. But I don't think he's there yet.
No.
And he's doing well at Getafe, and obviously if he's attracting Barcelona's interest, he must be doing something right.
Yeah.
But I just see too much hyperbole around him at the minute.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think
And
it's getting a little
it's
bit
being
carried
used
away.
by a lot of people as a sort of people who wanted him back in the first place, people who sort of defended him or weren't willing to condemn his actions. It's being used as sort of evidence that they were right, when really they're two completely different things. What he does on the pitch and what he seems to have done off the pitch aren't one thing is nothing to do with why he's not at United, and the other thing is 100% of the reason he's not at United. So him having a few good games for Getafe isn't going to change the other thing.
No.
And then it shouldn't be used as sort of fuel for the fire of people who think he shouldn't have left in the first place.
The reason he's on loan and he wasn't let go or wasn't sold immediately is because of how good he is.
Yeah.
Because that scenario could have led to the club going, this is a massive headache. And I said this before and I'll say it again, if he was a left back, he wouldn't still be at the club. They'd have just gone, sack it, get rid of him. But because he's a talented winger, he's one of the best finishers, natural finishers you've seen with either foot, they've obviously been left in that position where it's like, well, do we get rid of him, do we not? Let's just go and send him out on loan.
Yeah.
And this is where we're at.
Because there's a potentially £100 million player.
Yeah.
If the off the field stuff wasn't an
If we're going to
issue.
get to the crux of this though, get our hands on one of Barca's desirable stars.
Is that star named in the article?
I think
Presumably that's Frankie de Jong, isn't it? Potentially
Rafinha,
Rafinha or
not
maybe
even in
Dion.
the same. I don't think. I know. Listen, for me, the only way I think Erik ten Hag, if indeed he's in charge in the summer, would want to sanction this would be if he gets Frankie de Jong.
Yeah.
He loves Frankie de Jong, doesn't he? He wants Frankie
Yeah.
de Jong. He sees him as pivotal to what he wants to do. And I think if that could happen, then that would probably make a lot of sense, because that's always been the transfer he's wanted that he didn't get.
Yeah.
You can argue he wanted Harry Kane, and he did, and he wanted this, that and the other, but it was obvious that he saw de Jong as pivotal to the way he wanted to play.
Absolutely.
And when he said, I can't play like I did at Ajax, part of me felt like he was just saying, because I ain't got de Jong.
Yeah.
I was like, de Jong's just the be-all and end-all. I know it's not true, because you can still play that type of football without Frankie de Jong, but if we can make that happen, then maybe that's just best for all concerned.
Yeah.
They get a player they want, and ten Hag gets his man.
Yeah.
And we also get a good player. We're not getting someone who's past it or not quite up to it. We're getting someone who's a very good midfielder and who probably fits into the United team. So I don't know. I'll get in some of the comments.
Yeah.
Billy Simo, who's been a member of the academy for 21 says, I think there's something in the fact ten Hag was wanted as a Pep replacement, and we've taken Berrada from City, who might want to work with ten Hag. UTFP, thank you. James Barry says, Frankie de Jong plus Maino, eyes. Michael Beasley echoes that. De Jong and Maino midfield would be elite. I think it would be. Kieran said, will cost 100 million for us to place Greenwood with a player of his quality. Take him home. Chris Griffiths asked a good question. When is Snyder going to sign? I'm still waiting, my brother. Hit that like button, please. We've got 1,700 people watching, not even 200 likes. That is a disgrace.
Right, let's move on. Karim Benzema, what we got here? Oh
no, it's Anthony Martial.
Okay, let's
right, go on. Let's read this. Go on.
Achy toe, knee, no my groin. Antony, achy toe, knee, no my groin instead of Martial.
What?
Is that what I think it is? Something has happened. Is there a carbon monoxide leak down here or something?
Have you lot been smoking weed?
Is there a I knew I smelled something when I came down here.
This is the kind of thing, right? I used to get stoned back in the day and laugh my head off at.
Yeah.
And then people who weren't stoned would go, what are you laughing at?
And you'd show them your little diary where you've written it in a mixture of your own blood and shit.
Yeah.
And you go, look at that. Instead of Anthony Martial, because he's always injured, it's achy Tony, no my groin.
Achy Tony. Yeah. Right.
Just asking him, is it your toe? Is it your knee?
Yeah, but the thing is, achy Tony, that kind of works. Like Anthony, or even just achy Tony, like his Tony and he's always aching. But Martial being replaced with no my groin.
It's not Martial being replaced, it's just there.
Oh, right, so it's...
So what is the pun here?
Oh, that's a good question.
There isn't a pun.
Is it meant to sound like Anthony?
Is this? Have you written a short play? Is that really what's happened?
On company time, no less.
Is that what's going on here? You've written a play. Is that what it is? Yeah. This is a scene from a play you've written where Tony Marshall says to the doctor, the doctor says to Tony Marshall, achy toe, knee, and then Anthony Marshall replies, no, my groin.
And scene.
Yeah.
That's it. And you can read, the thing is, if you really read into that, what that sort of comments on the human condition, doesn't it? Yeah. Because if you think, no, my groin, like we think, oh yeah, this is hurting, your knee's bad, but actually all men care about is the groin, maybe. Maybe this is a comment on sort of masculinity in the modern era, in a way.
You're being very, very kind. I think it's two clowns.
Dickheads.
Messing about.
Let's call them what they are.
Egging each other on.
Yeah.
And I will give him credit though, because I thought I can't remember it now, the Omar Fellatio.
Omar Blow. Massive
Blow
Omar Blow.
Was the nadir of this particular transfers live, but they've managed to find a new depth to plummet to.
This is vile.
Right.
Absolutely
I'm scared
vile.
to read on it in case
I'll read
there's
it.
something else. Go on.
Man United forward Martial out for 10 weeks after groin surgery. Anthony Martial will be sidelined. Following a successful groin surgery, the club have confirmed the 28-year-old has not featured for United since the 3-0 home defeat by Bournemouth on the 9th of December. The injury rules Martial out until April, with his contract due to expire in the summer. We wish Anthony a speedy recovery and look forward to his return, United said in a statement. Martial was absent through illness over Christmas before the groin injury was identified and has missed United's past 7 games across all competitions. Martial has scored just once in the Premier League in 13 appearances this season and only played in 28 of United's 62 matches last season as well. There we go. I mean, it's a long-winded way of saying Martial's out for 3 months, isn't it? And to be honest, it might be the last 3 months of him as a Man United player. I know the season doesn't end for another month after that, but depending on how his recovery goes, depending on where we are in the league, depending on Rasmus Højlund's form, that could be the end of him.
Yeah, I think it could be, and I think it needs to be. We can't keep carrying on.
No.
Like, I like Tony Martial. I think he's actually a decent lad. And I do feel a little bit sorry for him because I think he's had a bit of mismanagement, some bad injuries, but also he's had the opportunity to step up and he hasn't. And he's 28 now. Yeah. You cannot go into another season with Tony Martial as one of your strikers. You can't. And I think in the last 4 seasons, he's played around 100 games and scored about 20 goals over the 4 seasons.
Yeah.
He went to Sevilla and it was a disaster. Like, basically scored, I think, is it 1 goal in the Europa League? I don't think he got any in La Liga. I think Lopetegui was calling him out after 1 game. It was just terrible. He looked like Erik ten Hag coming in would give him one last chance because he seemed to rate him and he picked him. And we saw in that pre-season where you thought, okay, something's going on here when we was away in Thailand and that. Gets injured and he keeps getting injured to a worse degree than he's ever done before.
Yeah.
Usually in Martial, he played 30, 40 games a season. He's gone down to 20 or whatever because he's constantly injured. And the final straw was just before the FA Cup final. Last game of the season was against Fulham or whatever it was, I forget. He finishes the game and everything seems hunky-dory. We've got this FA Cup final to look forward to. A game he would have featured in. Yeah. Make no bones about it. Maybe not start, but certainly off the bench.
Definitely.
And he's injured.
Yeah. Stood there holding his hamstring.
And you're like, that was it. That was your last opportunity. He could have played in that game. If he'd have helped us win it, all would have been forgiven. It would have been. We beat City in the FA Cup final. We stopped him doing the treble. Martial scored or played a part. We love him. But he didn't. And since then, he's not done much. And he's one of those players that the similarities with him and Marcus aren't, the styles are different, but I think with Marcus, the criticism of him is he looks like he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. He can drift in and out of games. Marcus's sort of saving grace is he gets goals and assists. Yeah. If you take goals and assists out away from Marcus, he's not like one of those players where he puts in a great shift like Rasmus Højlund does. Yeah. Where you go, he ain't got a goal assist, but he's putting a shift today. Martial, if he ain't scoring, he's doing nothing for you. No. Like, I'm sorry to say, he's not really involved in a game. He isn't holding it up like he used to. He isn't getting in behind. No. He's just doing nought.
He's not tracking back.
He's not tracking back. Yeah. He has to give you goals or he's giving you nothing. Yeah. And unfortunately, he's not been doing that as well. So I think he needs to move on. I hope he gets a decent move. And I think there's still a player there and he's still got potentially another 4 years left at top level football, depending on how his injuries pan out. If not a little bit longer, considering how long players last for nowadays. And yeah, hopefully he can get his career going. But he's got to go. He's got to go for me. There's no, unfortunately, you can't wait. And I think it's sad to see because it could have been so different. I'll get involved in some of the comments in the chat. Hit that like button as well. James Barry says, morale is low. We need a good pun, Ethan. Yeah.
The next one's big.
Nick Hughes says, Martial wringing the last pennies out of the club. I don't think there was any danger of him really going this window, was there? He's not, well, he's injured anyway.
Yeah, who would take him now?
If he was fit, I don't think. I mean, I know strikers are in short commodity, but I don't know anyone who's coming in for Anthony Martial, unless United would have paid a chunk of his wages, which I don't think we were willing to do anyway. No. And I don't think he wants to go. So there was no chance of him going in January. In summer, his contract expires. If they give him a contract extension, nothing has changed under Ineos. No. That is just the facts.
It's such an easy one as well, isn't it? Like, there's no one. He's not, even Martial FC. I've been to a couple of the meetings recently. It's just me there. Do you know what I mean? Like, Martial FC have disbanded at this point. Like, you don't even get any public pushback for letting Martial go, which is sad.
Your emails bounce back when you email them.
Yeah, it says this server was no longer found.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah. Horrible to see.
So, yeah, I think he's got to go, and I think he will go.
There's a lot. His highlights reel will be rammed down our throats for years to come. The goal against Liverpool, the goal against Everton, the hat-trick against Sheffield United, all that sort of stuff. But short and long of it is, he's not been doing it for far too long, and it's time to move on. Yeah. Talking of moving on.
Yes, let's move on to our next story then. What we got? Won't desert Al Ittihad. Won't desert Al Ittihad. Is that a joke? Is that a pun on sort of
desert?
Desert and that. No, the desert.
Oh right, yeah. But isn't when you desert something, is that how you spell it?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Won't deserve. Yeah. It's all right. I get it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's a gettable pun,
Yeah.
isn't it? Okay, we'll take that.
Yeah, we'll take it.
I think it is. I think I don't know if this is right. Actually, maybe worth googling this. I'm not even going to say it. It was something I think I saw something the other day about Saudi Arabia being the country with the largest uninterrupted desert in the world or something.
Right, okay.
So there's something that makes sense. There's a fact around that anyway. So it kind of makes a little bit of sense. Anyway, let's get into this. This is from L'Equipe in France, saying speculation over Karim Benzema is at fever pitch right now as he faces an uncertain future at Al Ittihad. The 36-year-old has been mooted as a potential mid-season target for United and other Premier League clubs. Reports suggest early discussions have been held with United, Arsenal and his former side, Lyon. However, Karim Benzema has responded to speculation around his future. The 36-year-old has looked to shut down the transfer talk. It's completely false. The French media don't know what to invent anymore. The bigger, the better.
Yeah.
You've got that tattooed on your lower back, haven't you? Are you a big Karim Benzema fan?
Sentence was going to end very differently.
Yeah, it was just there and then there's an arrow pointing down. Is that to do with it? Did you get that done after this quote came out?
I just love the quote so much.
It's
Yeah, I
a great
decided to
quote.
get it stamped on my back. I mean, this is where we're at, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're talking about transfers that just are destined not to happen whatsoever for a multitude of reasons. And it's a bit sad that we're talking about a player we should have got 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, now he's 36 and we still can't get him. He ain't going to come. Then they don't want to let him go.
He's on about fucking 800 grand a millisecond as well, isn't it? So
I think to get him, do
why
you
would
remember
he
last
go?
season when we were linked with João Felix?
Yes.
And it was like, it would have cost 20 million quid on a loan fee for
Yes.
6 months, and United were like, look, we ain't doing that, we ain't got it. It would cost around that to get him from now until the end of the season. If you look at his weekly wage, which we'd have to pay, then it'd cost about, I don't know, I can't even do well, let's say $1 million a week for 20 weeks, whatever. Let's say it cost you 20 million. For a 36-year-old who, yes, he's still, he's one of the greatest strikers of the modern era, but he is a bit past it. He's not exactly been doing, playing at highest level, despite what Cristiano Ronaldo will tell you about the Saudi League recently, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't. We need a striker, and even a year ago, I'd have bit your hand off for Karim Benzema, but now I just feel like none of this makes any sense. And also, it doesn't happen. What's this?
We've got another suggested pun here. Kareem of the crop.
That's
Better.
all right. Yeah,
Works.
Yeah,
It works, doesn't it?
That's decent.
Yeah, it works. Well done, Ryan. Thank you. Good lad. Very good.
What?
Actually, promising.
Promising.
Young talent.
Right. Okay.
What we got next? Speaking of promising young talents.
Hang on a minute. Chupo. No, not moving train.
Absolute fucking nonsense, that. One of you two want to do this with Jay? You can fuck off. That's a mess. That's just a mess.
Joe, come. No, he's gone.
What is this?
He's gone.
Chupo not moving train.
You read the article.
Don't give me if you read the article.
I'd like to, if you can get me single, I'd like to apologise on behalf of Stretford Paddock on what you've just seen, on what you heard. We have to take responsibility as a channel for anything that goes on the channel, even if it's not me or Joe, who are responsible individually, collectively we are. So the relevant people are going to get educated. They're going to learn their mistakes and realise that there's certain things that are just unacceptable, and that is one of them. So apologies. Joe, anything you want to add?
What's stronger and firmer than immediate termination of contract? Because we need to go above that.
I think police matter.
Really?
Criminal
Jay,
charges.
Jay,
Yeah.
call the cops.
I can't, bro.
Call the cops.
Snitches get stitches. You know my thoughts on grassing.
Okay. Well, all right then. Call the British Transport Police.
All right, I can do that.
Get them barred from any Northern Rail
I'll
service.
call the Coast Guard. That's a loophole.
That is a sickening thing to read. So it's like choo-choo train, chupo not moving train.
You know, my little girl is 8, right? And I love her, yeah, Esme. If you're watching, he shouldn't be. He should be in bed. If she came up to me and went, Daddy, I've got a pun, yeah, and she showed me that, she'd be getting adopted.
Yeah.
Because that is terrible for an 8-year-old,
Yeah.
let alone for 2 professional, degree-educated men.
Yeah. She'd be getting adopted and you'd refuse to give a reference.
Adopted, name changed, you're not having my surname, I don't want anyone to know that I fathered you. That is how bad it is. And I cannot get over it. I cannot believe someone came up with that.
Honestly,
someone else wrote it out and someone else put it on a live video for me and Joseph to read out.
And they knew it was bad as well, because when they put it out, they both went, oh no. We've finally got they thought we'd never get to this one. They were hoping the internet had cut out before we got to this story.
What was the plan here, lads? What were you thinking? How did you see this ending? Oh, even if Ollie did have a few mushrooms for dinner, it doesn't explain this, which is what Ethan's tried to blame it on drugs.
Yeah. Anyway, let's read it. Bayern Munich have no interest in selling...
No, do you know what? We're not reading it.
Right.
Fuck off.
No, fuck yeah.
Put something else on there. Put a picture of Joe on there.
Yeah, something
I refuse to read anything to do with that. I'm sorry.
We're not even getting in.
Fuck off. No. Right? That...
Wrap it up, Jay.
That... And believe me, we've had some moments on this channel, trust me. That is the worst thing that's ever happened to us on this channel.
This has to be a learning experience. This has to be the bottom. We have to come back from this, okay? We go to Norwich. We don't let this slip now, okay? We go again. Don't make me quote Steven Gerrard, but I'll fucking do it. We don't let this slip. Jay,
William Ryan says, I love you guys. I'm a member since 2013 up the Paddock. This deserves a like. Yeah, loads of laughing emojis. Thank you for everyone that stuck with us during the dark times of that live video. We will be back in the morning with the news, and there are a couple of job applications open for Stretford Paddock. We'll put a link in the description there. You can apply. We're looking for 2 new producers. Joe.
Yeah.
Anything you can bring yourself to add to that shambles?
Get me out of here, man.
That's been a man formerly known as Joe Smith, now a shadow of his former self. I've been Jay Moy. This has been Transfers Live. Despite what you've seen tonight, don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe, and thanks for watching.